Gloomy weather, a giant clock, and the world's most famous royalty. I must be in England. I'll begin my adventure in London, a city of classic architecture and the world's oldest metro system. But the real attraction here is the diversity of people. It's through them everything happens for me, including boats, music, latex, and spinning torture wheels. But we're always keeping it classy. And before I call it a trip, I'm going to rip it up, yuck it up, and throw it down on the world's most popular set. This is Road Less Traveled UK. I'm Jonathan Legg. I'm an explorer, a globetrotter on a continual quest for the unusual, exotic, and adventurous side of life. My destination is the core, the very beating heart of a place. It's the search for the wildest, most unpredictable experiences. Moments that widen and deepen our perspective of the world we live in. What happens on our journey, I don't know. But one thing I do know is this: we're sticking to the road less traveled. Walking down the streets of London is quite a unique sensation for me. I feel as if I'm returning to the mothership after a long orbit around the universe, and that maybe I've forgotten something fundamental or essential while away. It's been a hot minute since I've been in the UK, and it's comforting to see that some things haven't changed at all. You can still get a pint of delicious English ale down at the pub, and the cabbies still drive those classic Hackney carriages. But like Bob Dylan said, the times they are a-changin'. The poor, iconic London phone booth, assassinated by cellular technology. Guess we all just have our brief moment in the sun, don't we? It's a nice memorial. Change is most evident in the shifting subcultures. Remember the rockers, the mods, the punks? All pushed to the fringes as new niches have emerged. Tower Bridge was there before, and if I ever come back, I'm sure it'll still be there. But the road less traveled is occasionally an ephemeral path, a moment in time you see now or never. But I'm a Yank, whose forefathers split with Mother England over 200 years ago. A small gap has developed that I want to bridge for this trip. So the next day I leave the house early for a lesson in British accents. Obviously, the first American colonists sounded a lot like their friends and family back in England. What might surprise you is they sounded more like me than anyone living in London currently. We've been duped by Hollywood. Our common English was rhotic, meaning we hit the R's. But since then, British English has become non-rhotic. Listen. Is work hard in the summer?
Yeah, it gets really hard over the summer here.
After the American Revolution, a huge linguistic shift occurred in England. The Industrial Revolution led to a lot of social mobility. Social climbers wanted to distinguish themselves from their humble beginnings, so they adopted a posh way of speaking, which spread and then became standardized. Only American cities where Britain held strong influence were affected by the shift. Americans pushing west in manifest destiny didn't get the memo. I meet my coach Rolly outside a traditional East End pub. And there inside its cozy interior, past the clutch of regulars, we begin our lesson. All right, so give me a buzz phrase for a proper British accent.
I suppose the buzz phrase would be, all right, mate.
All right, mate.
Yeah, all right, mate. All right, nice one.
Nice one.
Yeah, nice. And also, I reckon a good one for you because obviously You're American. When you say bath, you say bath.
Bath, yeah.
Yeah, bath.
Take a bath. So I'm gonna meet these grime guys, I hope.
Grime, okay.
And just in case I have to drop some lyrics or join them in something, what would be a proper way to speak kind of in that grimy, you know, the language of the streets, the tone of the streets?
So with grime, it's with the streets. So like safe. Safe is like how you say hello. You go, all right, safe, mate. Nice one, safe.
Safe.
Yeah, and you give them a little fist bump.
Fist bump.
Safe.
Safe.
Yeah.
Okay, and on the other end of the spectrum, I'm hoping to cross completely over from a gritty kind of street environment to something super posh. Chelsea, afternoon tea with somebody distinguished.
Totally the opposite for the Sloane. I suppose you sort of talk like as if you've got something in your mouth like that.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Very short and you sort of cut off like that.
Sounds attainable, but it's not so easy.
Say bath before you hear. Yes, I'd like to have a bath. I'd like to meet Roger for a bath.
I'd like to meet Roger for a bath.
I'd like to meet Roger for a bath. Your buzz phrase would be, let's have a bath.
Let's have a bath.
Yes.
Finally, we settle on a couple that I try to nail. Hello, Legg's the name. I'd like to have a bath with Roger.
Yeah.
I think I got it, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'll report back and let you know if I got thrown out of the scenes or if I acclimated.
Nice.
With the accent skills loosely in my pocket, I launch my journey through the new subcultures of London, to see them before they vanish. And I'll begin with the one that is fighting to stay alive. Grime music is, in a nutshell, London's version of America's gangster rap. But it was no copy. It developed organically off the streets of East London. A music that represented the neighborhood and its people, with a unique tempo and flow. Unlike rap, it never blew up to huge levels of commercial success. It is, as it was, a niche scene, only truly understood and savored by its true fans. So niche, in fact, I have trouble finding it. Following a tip, I go to the pop-up mall in Shoreditch. Good music, not grime. Although everyone claims cryptically that grime is their foundation. Finally, a contact from Grime Forum comes through, sending me to a random address in South London's Peckham neighborhood. Looks about right. Inside, I meet Magic, producer and owner of No Hats, No Hoods. He's got the Square crew in the studio. These guys, all successful MCs. All of them under 21. The new wave of grime. I got here just in time for a photo shoot. We roll down the street to an appropriate setting where the photographer puts me to work. The new face of grime, and I got to light it up. Square is a crew, not a boy band. Think Young Money, not In Sync. Although they collaborate, each will sink or swim individually. A couple of these guys could go big. A couple might stay small but endure, and a couple might be out of music altogether in a few years. Like all artistic pursuits, the game ain't easy. But it's stimulating to be around the enthusiasm and optimism of these young guys. Grime's old school music though, right? It's been around for like a decade. So what's the appeal of it to you? Like, why do you embrace that?
Because obviously, we was brought up in the States, get me? So like, that's how we express ourselves, get me?
Oh, yeah.
Get me? Like, it's the only way we can express ourselves, man.
How about for you, man? Like, what do you like about, like, is there something about the lifestyle that appeals to you, or the music, the sound?
You see, grime, it's a culture. Get me? It's not just grime music, yeah? The way we dress, the way we act, everything. Personality. It's not like hip hop. It's not music, it's a culture.
So essentially, you guys are representing
Yeah. Proper, to the fullest.
the proper London sound.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Sweet. I want to hear your shit now. That's kind of the grime thing, right? How it works is you just drop it.
Spot, man. We don't front anywhere. We spray bars, man. I took that beat.
Back by the studio, they eagerly dig out a phone to show me how it's done on the block. This is how all grime hopefuls cut their teeth. A mobile beat gets passed around, and a kid has a small moment to shine.
I got bars for days. Sleep on who when you're half awake. Eat MCs alive with half a plate. You're swagging away, my dance will say. You don't want to get involved for your margin's sake. I had to leave them behind. All for the piece of the pie, you snaked. So we departed ways. But I'ma be a leader in grime. Roll on my own. I got a roll with a pole. Sit in town and it's Wall Park Road. Well, if you didn't know, slanging them, banging them, getting these O's. But I wanna be at a stage show, gotta get the P's in. That is the reason. That is why you see me on the road. That when I'm on the road, I let lean on the road. You get me?
Oh shit! That's the traditional way to sort of spray bars, though. You put a song on the cell phone, you pass it around.
That's where it all started. Yeah.
Back in the studio, it's time for the crew to lay the tracks down for their debut mixtape, The Formula. All powered by a classic grime diet.
Well, boy, you're not grime kid if you don't eat chicken and chips in it. Like, there's no vegetarians in this team. You get me, fam? Like, get me? One.
Yeah, man.
Cause straight up, you get me 6 wings and chips.
Is this gonna help me spray some bars?
Cause you're gonna get the sickest bars after you eat this one. You get me? Trust me.
That's pretty good.
It's alright, innit? It's better than all that KFC shit.
Suddenly, Novelist throws me a curveball.
Eating the chicken and chips.
Yeah.
If you want to be a real MC, nah, you can get two more. If you want to be a real MC, man's got to get in a booth. You get me, fam? There's no slacking in here.
Oh,
no
snap.
slacking in here.
Nah, man. Yeah, man.
You want me to spit some bars?
Yeah, you
I'm
must
gonna
spit
spit
some
bars.
Get in there. South London.
On the outside, all confidence. But here in the booth, few disastrous karaoke performances haunt me. I better not muck it up. And, how did that accent go? Yo, it's Johnny and I'm here. See me with the square doing work last year. Mad work rate 'cause it's a new year. No bad chat if you move here. Yo, it's John and I'm here. See me with the square doing work last year. Mad work rate 'cause it's a new year. No bad chat if you move here. Oh shit! I come out of the booth feeling giddy, like a schoolgirl invited to her first prom.
MC John in the building. Hey, yo, you man.
Gritty neighborhood, chicken and chips, and spraying bars on the street. Thanks to No Hats, No Hoods and the Square crew, I feel certified grime. And now that I've checked that box, it's time for something a little more flamboyant. This is Camden. Back in the day, it used to be Punk Central. Now it seems to be just Tourist Central. But hang on. Deep down its windy and colorful streets sits a must-see store. Cyberdog. Now wait a second. Is this a store? A club? A factory for robots that Will Smith will first seek to destroy but later join in friendship? No. This, my friend, is my ticket into another London subculture which sprung out of punk, principally the aptly named niche of cyberpunk. Now to mix with the cyberpunk crowd, I'm gonna need to go to a club. And if I go to a club, I gotta dress the part. No problemo. We got some options here. Option 1. 2 Shaun White on acid? Option 2. Maybe just a touch too Donnie Brasco meets Tron. Option 3. Yeah, right on target. Outside the club, Frank from Flag Promotions drops some news on me and my misinformed t-shirt. It's not cybergoth night. It's goth night, with some industrial elements thrown in the mix. But that's cool. Goth is also homegrown UK music, with pioneer bands like Bauhaus, Sisters of Mercy, and Fields of Nephilim. and the crowd is friendly and social. It's a totally different scene I'm eager to understand. So it's all about sort of just being who you are, being cool with other people and who they are.
It's a lot about expressing yourself in some way, depending on which subculture you're into. It all has like the same agenda to express yourself in one way or another.
Inside, the venue is massive and appropriately urban, industrial, and dark, but not without a danceable groove. The vibrant mix of dress and personality add to the fun. So is it just a music or is it a lifestyle too?
Well, it's a subculture, it's a lifestyle.
Is there a philosophy behind it? Like you think this is where the world's going?
Yeah,
I'm gonna get ready early?
Yeah, pretty much, and that is part of the philosophy behind it. A lot of people, cybers kind of dress a lot more darker and more post-apocalyptic. So they're dressed in kind of like really worn down stuff, a bit militaristic, and that kind of thing. Lots of pockets, lots of kind of things like that.
Right.
You know, preparing for a future conflict.
Right.
I'm a bit more colourful.
So if the apocalypse happens tomorrow, you're basically
we're
2
ready.
steps ahead of me.
Yeah, that's...
I'm gonna have to scramble. You're good to go.
Okay, man. Yeah, enjoy the night.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, brother. The more I stay here, the more I agree with that colorful group. The music's all right, but the place really works as a hangout. The people are the draw. The funny thing is, despite grim, foreboding appearances, the attitude inside the event is more chill and cordial than your average mainstream bar. I'm obviously no more goth than I am grime, but both those guys are original and owning it, and that's all right by me. 2 subcultures very different from my walk of life, but I think I gelled pretty well. Soon, however, I'll start moving into the deep end of the pool, perhaps even too deep. Hello? Hello? Keats, Blake, Milton, Wordsworth, Tennyson, England is loaded with a who's who of poets. And today I'm gonna meet one of the newest generation, Ernesto Salazar, AKA the Naked Poet. Tell me about performance poetry.
Okay, well, performance poetry basically is the opportunity to stand in front of a microphone and talk to an audience and present your work, present your poetry to an audience, because there are not many opportunities for poets to publish their books, etc. So the idea of being able to perform your work in front of an audience is a very nice way of communicating with people, and it's quite nice because now in London there is a thriving performance poetry scene, so there are many new poetry nights opening, and it's really quite nice, and it's growing, and people, some call it poetry is the new rock and roll.
The new rock and roll. Well, let's do some rock and roll.
Yeah. Oh, look, so this is Kedner's. This is, well, now it's a restaurant and you have afternoon tea and all these things, but it used to be a hotel that in the upper rooms, it actually worked as a male brothel.
A male brothel.
Yes, and it's a place where Oscar Wilde used to pick up his boys, basically.
That dirty rascal. But I love his writing.
Oh, no, absolutely, yeah. Amazing, yeah. It got him into trouble, actually, all these things. But anyway, he was in prison because of the things he did here.
We've come a long way, huh?
Definitely.
Ernesto leads me to a classic old tea house where we can brainstorm. If I write something, should I rhyme?
I would recommend, I would try to aim for rhyming.
Okay.
Yeah. Because as I say, it creates a structure, creates a, I don't know how to say.
You don't go too far off the rails, so to speak.
Yes, some constraint, that's the idea, yeah.
With my poem coming together, I take my leave of Ernesto. Our reading is coming up, but first I need to gather inspiration on 3 fronts: adrenaline, sexuality, and class. When you think British TV, what comes to mind? Monty Python? Doctor Who? How about Top Freaking Gear? Almost every country on the planet broadcasts the show. It is the most watched program in the history of the world. Great hosts, clever ideas, and let's face it, who doesn't appreciate cars? 3 of our greatest inventions were the wheel, the automobile, and the airplane. But beyond utility, there is something undeniably sexy about the combustible engine and the speed we've twisted out of it. Lord knows I've indulged in a few 4-wheel frivolities. And I've cut my teeth on the track. No, I mean a real track, damn it. That's it. Although my performance wasn't flawless.
Oh, my bad.
Well, today I've been invited to the famous Top Gear track to do a lap and meet a celebrity from the show. And as you can see, I'm warming up my driving skills here on the train. However, last night I did study the intricacies of the track. I took note of the corners. I visualized my tarmac attack. I arrived full of nerves, afraid of losing control of the car or dropping the entire gearbox on the track when I muck up that left-handed shift. The Top Gear track experience opened just 3 days ago. If you want to join the studio audience to watch a taping of the show, the wait list is now over 5 years long. But you could get into this facility tomorrow. It is still under the radar. So this is the Top Gear experience. These are the track times for the Kia Ceed Celebrity Laps. Matt LeBlanc, how you doing? I'm gonna knock you off your perch today. The times that Matt and all these other celebs set was for a popular show segment called Star in a Reasonably Priced Car. Big names taking a sedan as fast as they can around the now famous Top Gear test track. Today, I get to square off against Tom Cruise, driving, as he did, a Kia Ceed. All stock except for the roll bar, because it's not impossible to flip it. Then I jump on a video game simulator to get accustomed to the track. Now, I always prided myself on being good at racing games, but apparently not this one. I've improved a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe I need to take a hot lap with a professional driver. I hear there's a guy around here. That's the one. The Stig, for those of you who don't know, is a famous figure on Top Gear. Like the masked horseman of the old westerns, you never know his true identity. He's just a Stig. Oh, and he never talks. Ever. But we'll see about that. Okay, Stig, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna give you one of those, like a California high five, where we high five and we fist bump. All right? Okay, we rolling? Let's roll on it. You got it?
Unlike English, where
right,
we say,
hey, Stig!
in Russian,
Good.
you basically say, somebody calls me Svetlana.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh? Now it's time for Svetlana's tips. It's cool
Let's go.
to shake hands for
Stig rips us around the track. He might not have the gift of gab, but the guy can drive. Sweet Lord, that was fast. Woo! What are the 2 sexiest animals on the farm? Brown chicken, brown cow. The guy's a stone pillar, but I respect that. And now I am ready. This is it, the Star in the Reasonably Priced Car. Keep in mind, anyone can come into this small town in England today and do this. The car, a Kia Ceed, a South Korean compact made exclusively for the European market. My coach, Nathan, professional driver. One guided spin through the track before the real deal. It's more sporty than, when you say Kia, then it's like, but it's actually got a little pep to it. Up we go. The course is tricky. I don't see the corners until I'm right up on them, or until the coach tells me.
Oh, that's the turn.
And the stick shift on the left hand is unusual.
Gotta tear it up in this Kia.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going left to the tires. Okay. Hey, now I'm starting to recall this from the video game.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't look exactly the same. Right.
How'd you feel?
I was good, man, but those turns I didn't even. It took a while to match it up with the game.
Yeah.
Talk me through it again. I'm getting it.
Yeah,
Step by
cool.
step.
Perfect. This is the lap. This is it.
Is this the one?
This is the one.
Oh shit.
This is it. All the marbles.
Let's see. So 3, 2, 1.
Did I just blow it out?
Not bad, well recovered. Straight over. Beautiful. Really good. Good, got it.
Sick. I thought we were going straight. And
It ain't Tom Cruise or Matt LeBlanc good, but it is what it is. You think you can do better? Get in here soon before word gets out. It's a slam-a-jam-a good time, and if you like the show, it's a must-see on your UK adventure. However, despite the positive spin, I succumbed to a session of mild brooding on the train.
I didn't completely disgrace my family name, but I didn't exactly kill it either. I guess I'm destined to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Violence.
One day, I'll be good at something. Today, my destination is the neighborhood of Soho, which was once London's heart of vice, and a few traces of Soho's sexually charged past remain. This is the iconic Café du Paris.
Wow. Look at this place. One of the oldest clubs in Europe, open since 1924.
Sinatra, Prince, Elton John all played here. Snake Hips Johnson ended his career when 2 German bombs came through the ceiling. I've slid in just ahead of the crowd to get an uninterrupted look.
The design of this place is a classic. And if it looks familiar, you probably love you some Leo, because it's an exact replica of the Titanic's ballroom. The only other copy is in the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
Backstage, the performers get ready. The scene reminds me of my old theater days, the calm before the storm. Back in the main room, the show begins with a bang. The acts are entertaining and unique. You can't say they don't put a lot of razzmatazz and energy into it. But to be honest, I'm looking for something a little more underground. Perhaps a drop more licentious in nature, more road less traveled. So the next day I meet James, author of the London Burlesque and Fetish Maps at Warren Street Station. This is the man who can take me deep.
Holy smokes.
Complete lifestyle guide. Places to stay, places to eat and drink.
There are a lot of things going on in London. I would have never imagined there was this many venues that did kinky stuff. Well, let's go to one of these spots, huh?
Okay.
Oof. Yeah.
Just like I had to get properly attired for my cyberpunk, goth night, I believe I need proper threads for kinky London. So James takes me to Liberation, the store for all your fetish needs. Whatever those fetish needs are exactly.
Nothing says it's gonna be a party like a gas mask and a spanking cane, huh?
Downstairs, the rubber. Lots and lots of rubber.
Are you ready for the feel of latex?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Woo. It's invigorating.
I think you found your new self.
That's the first time I've worn latex on this much skin.
Feels good against the skin.
It does kind of feel good, you know, I thought I wouldn't like it.
When your body warms it up a little bit, it'll take on a different edge.
All right.
Yeah, so this is going to give you a high gloss finish.
Yeah, man, look at that, it pops. There's nothing like a latex suit with a fresh gloss of Pervo shine on it.
In the end, I decide to skip the latex suit. I'm good. Maybe I bought just one little thing at this store. What it is, I'll never tell you, but what I will tell you is this. Soon, I will slip a bit too far into this scene. Maybe to the point of no coming back. Still in my regular clothes, I accompany James to Oval for my first introduction to bondage. Meet Bruce, aka S&M, a certified master of shibari, the art of Japanese ropework, an intricate and finely nuanced form of bondage. There are few people on the planet who can do this, and now I'm meeting one.
What you're doing when you're tying somebody, certainly Japanese style, shibari, kimbaku, whatever you like to call it, the two things I've heard that people who know what they, know their ropes say is that it's either a tool of communication and an extension of their hands. But from here, you've got quite a lot of control over somebody, you see.
Yeah. I've had my taste of shibari, and James, with a glimmer in his eye, promises to take me one step deeper into the lion's mouth. Again, we find ourselves in an inconspicuous neighborhood. Perfect spot to hide a secret. With a knock on an unmarked door, she appears, the dominatrix. This is Murder Mile, a place where all your dom sub fantasies can come true. Well, not here. Wait for it. The mistress leads me deeper into the facility. I'm totally out of my element, and I'll admit it, I'm a little nervous here. The room is full of contraptions I've never seen. Some of them I get, others I'm not sure I want to understand. Undoubtedly, these walls have seen some interesting times.
Hello? Hello? I'm not sure. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I like this or not. It's kind of unique. I mean, it's a unique experience.
It's not exactly my bunch of bananas, but well, now I know.
Yeah. Thank you, mistress.
With that, I can safely say I've had my fetish experience. Now the pool goes much, much deeper, but I've achieved my goal. I met one more unique London subculture, and if I needed a crash course in hedonism for my poetry reading, I'd say I got it.
My time's running short in England, but there's one more niche I have to dip my feet into. After all, it's the classic, to mingle with the formal afternoon tea crowd.
but I'm not necessarily a man of refined tastes. I mean, I could use a little polish. When I think afternoon tea in England, I think royalty, aristocracy, old money. Well, I got none of that. However, I have taken acting classes, and I did meet with an accent coach who gave me a formal dialect. Now, all I need to do is look the part. If you go one place in this world to splurge on a nice tailored suit, it should be London. And if you go to one spot in London, it should be Savile Row. And the one shop on Savile Row has got to be Henry Poole. Since 1805, the family-run business has made suits for the likes of Winston Churchill, Charles Dickens, Emperor Hirohito, and Charles de Gaulle, as well as countless Maharajas and members of royalty.
So, generally what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to turn around.
All right.
I'm just going to get you to raise your arms a sec, very slightly. Just go.
Let me ask you something. As an expert, being in the industry as long as you have, you can probably look at a guy on the street and say, "Oh, it's a nice suit," or "It's a cheap suit."
Yes, generally speaking, I think we probably all can.
And
you don't necessarily have to be an expert, but I think we can all pretty much look at a suit and go, "That's a nice suit. It looks good on someone."
I like it. Well, let's go for it.
Okay, so this should hopefully be a reasonable fit for you.
I like it already.
Yeah. Now, typically it takes 4 to 5 meetings to get a suit made just to your taste. But look, I'm in a rush, so I've talked my way into getting a loaner. And while that comes together, I sneak off to look around. Downstairs are the top gun of tailors. New apprentices, like Emily, come in with awards like the Golden Shears. They are slot in with veteran tailors with up to 40 years experience. It's kind of interesting taking a peek at what other people have ordered. I mean, you can kind of imagine the fellow who would have asked for this, or this one here. And look at this. This formal attire. This would be used by a Queen's representative in some sort of a judiciary formal occasion. Back upstairs, Anthony, the sales manager, has my suit ready, and it's a stunner. Is there something about this suit which is distinctively Henry Poole, where somebody who knows their suits could look at me and say, "That's a Henry Poole suit, isn't it?"
Yes, well, hopefully they should be able to. Generally, we have what we call a high gorge, which is where the notch of the lapel is. We tend to make it a little bit higher up, so it gives you a slightly longer line here. When you then raise your arms, the more movement you'll get with your jacket.
Ah, right.
So it will bring up more of the jacket. So the fact that it's a slightly smaller hole allows you to have more maneuverability with your arms without raising the whole jacket up.
With the right clothing, I suddenly feel the thirst of a distinguished gentleman. The thirst for tea. This is Britain's first tea room, established by Thomas Twining in 1706, still standing today. And this is me running late. Got this suit just in time. Henry Poole was nice enough to throw in the tie. I pulled the most formal shirt I could out of the backpack. I didn't have enough time to get the entire outfit together. It's not a TV gimmick. I just really didn't have enough time, but I think it's good enough. Inside, the shop is full of every kind of tea you can imagine. The shop also contains Twinings' history and accolades, including a decree announcing the brand as the official supplier to the royal family, a title they've held for almost 200 years. And somewhere back here, there is Stephen Twinings, heir of the name and business. Am I ready? I think I am. The custom of British afternoon tea is credited to Anna Russell, the Duchess of Bedford. But who am I to talk tea? Ask this guy.
Stephen Twinings.
Yes, indeed. Welcome.
Jonathan Legg.
Delighted, Jonathan. Please have a seat.
Nice to meet you.
Let's have a cup of tea. Delighted you could stop by.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and may I say how very appropriately dressed you are for the tea. Oh, the tea occasion. Yes, yes, indeed.
Thank you. Henry Poole.
Very nice.
Henry
indeed.
Poole.
Yep, I'm going for it.
Yes.
May I,
Please, allow me.
Thank you. Earl Grey?
Indeed. I heard it was your favourite.
It is.
Yes. Always good to know what your guests like.
Good research.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
It's quite splendid, actually.
It is a great classic British cup of tea, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, handed down. from
Sometimes it feels good.
Stephen, I must say, I like the story, I like the tea,
Yes.
and I appreciate your je ne sais quoi.
Most kind, sir. Most kind.
And other moments I struggle.
The tea, what's it, a bath with Roger. The tea empire began with Thomas.
Absolutely.
Thomas Twinings,
Yes.
I do recall.
Yes, empire in those days would be an overstatement.
But eventually, I start to crumble.
So Stephen, tea is quite a, how would you say, salubrious, bath, a healthy.
Oh, very, absolutely. But one of the great truths about tea is that you don't have to come to tea and pretend to like it or behave in a certain way. Tea should fit into your lifestyle. It wants to be part of you, therefore you should be part of yours. Just be yourself. There's no need to put on airs or graces because tea cuts across all social boundaries. So just be your own man.
Can I just talk normal?
Absolutely.
Is that all right?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What a relief to be normal. Only in London could you go from a latex jacket and getting caged to a $6,000 classic suit and drink tea at Twinings. What a spectrum. I love it. And now all the pieces are together. Adrenaline, sexuality, class. That's just the ticket to poetic inspiration. I'm never going to look this good in clothes again, so I may as well take them all off for my naked poem. Although the day isn't starting off too smoothly.
Disaster. I started off this morning doing a little manscaping and went a little bit too far up and carved off a rectangular patch of stomach hair. So what are you gonna do? The carpet has to match the drapes, so I'm working my way up. Where does it end? We'll find out tonight.
It all comes together here at the Poetry Cafe, where a small room gradually fills up with a lot of people to get naked in front of. Upstairs, I make last-minute adjustments to my poem, looking for the beats. Then downstairs, it begins. Waves of poets take the stage. Some insightful, some passionate, and some damn impressive. No one naked.
Can we have a round of applause, please, for Jonathan Legg? Thank you!
Hey guys. Shadowing Ernesto here. So I guess you could say I'm his protege. And I'm going to follow suitless. Now, I'm no poet, but there are certain sleepless nights where I feel that welling of the bellow of the great ancient bull within me. And there are times when I feel a yearning that I just can't put my finger on. This poem will reflect none of that, but I'm going to take my underwear off. I got my genetic results in the mail. Turns out I'm 3% Neanderthal. I'm coming back from the office to run with it all. Tonight when you get home, I'm gonna eat my chicken right off the bone.
and look at you with my savage eye. You're playing coy, but like Shakira says, those hips don't lie. I will wipe my mouth with my sleeve, and then you can retrieve Daddy's tie from the closet. You're a bank, and this hoarding barbarian is going to make a large deposit.
Jonathan Legg, thank you. So,
There it was. Not Tennyson, not Keats, but a moment in time I will never forget. I couldn't ask for more out of my London adventure. I saw a city which has carried on, rolling with the times, but true to its roots and character. I put my finger on the pulse, and I felt the heartbeats of her people pumping right back.